Okay, thank you very much, Katerina. Wait a sec. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my webinar, broadcasting live from Mexico City. Today is Tuesday, March 14th, 2017. My local time, 1 a.m., 10 minutes past the hour, 7 a.m. GMT time, 11 minutes past the hour. We're just about to get to the half of the third month of the year, guys and girls. I simply cannot believe the speed of time. I know it's relative, but it's relative to the age one has. The older you get, the faster it goes. That means that you start moving slower. So, hopefully today I did some tweaks to my computer, and with a little bit of luck, we're not going to have any kind of crashing issues. Let me close some stuff before, just to be sure of that. And let's begin. I would like to thank FX Rabbit for being around. It's been some days that he's been around lately. Thank you very much for that. And of course, thanks Rocas, he's always here. Thanks a lot, my friend. Thanks a lot, Katerina, of course, for hosting, recording all the guests. Thanks also. So today, yesterday I was commenting that it was a very hard weekend psychologically for me, and that I had to do tons of crazy and personal stuff to try to brainwash me and to come back with a positive attitude and to look forward this week without feeling what I felt on Friday. So apparently I did it. I've been kind of productive in my live accounts. I've been doing great in the live accounts. Actually, I do believe that before this weekend I could come back all the losses. So that is a good thing, because I mean, when you lose demo money, etc., well, it's not good. Overall, in my case, that I am showing you openly and you have access to my trades, for example, in the trader competition. Of course, it's not good that you see, oh my god, this guy blew up the account again. But the real thing is that how you treat your live money, because it's different. So yeah, in that case, the live thing, I'm kind of feel very happy, and that has brought me some peace of mind to see things under another light and perspective, and try to foresee some other kind of opportunities for the week. As we know, we will have the Fed, the completely anticipated Fed decision on Wednesday. I mean, it would be a suicide for the Fed and the markets in the United States that just for a last-minute decision, they decided not to hike the rates. I mean, it's inevitable, at least just for health. The financial sector is simply a must. So I don't expect any kind of surprise change of the decision. And the markets are reflecting that fact. We're going to analyze dollar yen. It's been getting very interesting overall, because it's aligning with at least what I've been saying Friday, that it could turn out be Friday a take profit day, but that wouldn't necessarily mean that dollar yen will follow other pairs that I believe that are going to behave bearish on dollar. What I believed, and I told that yesterday, that what I was expecting is that yen could enter into a consolidation zone, while other United States dollar pairs or cross pairs should be bearish, maybe for even the whole week. But I believe that dollar yen will stay there, helping the yen crosses to hold on to a kind of a range bound or even bullishness. We're going to analyze that. It's been the most interesting one. I was never a fan, and I have 11 years of trading. I've never been a fan of dollar yen, but lately, this last year, 3 months, I'm really into yen. I mean, you feel the difference. You feel that you can anticipate the U-turns, the moves. It's not like, for example, yesterday that we were analyzing. I showed you at the last minutes of the webinar a dollar Canadian trade. By the way, FX Rabbit. I traded yesterday the dollar CAD, the loonie, and it made a wild swing to the upside, then to the downside, etc. We're going to show a quick chart in some minutes about that. Let me grab a snapshot already, because I don't want to have in any for any reason this crashes. I just want to have all the pictures already uploaded. And I'm going to show you exactly what was. I don't know if we're going to be able. Yeah, here they are. So we're going to review that, and we're going to compare the stability of dollar yen. And as I've been saying, as I just said, trading now yen is if you really want to have peace of mind and avoid maybe some kind of wild volatilities in your favor or against. Maybe the safe bet is to go dollar yen. In my opinion, long-term bullish. Of course, it has had a very good pullbacks to the downside, profitable for short-term short traders. And but if you really want to, I don't know, maybe consider longer options to your trading, maybe dollar yen, it's doing pretty well. Of course, the best buying prices were at the 113 or 114. We're now close to the 115. So now it's just time to watch and to keep up with the price action in dollar yen to see try to foresee any kind of wild movement against us to the downside. We're going to show that with the support of the trading boxes that I use. So let's begin with that. We have a lot of material today. And I believe that you have realized that I am really into now drawing these price action boxes. I really like them a lot. Overall, because they have worked for me. So yeah, I am excited sharing that with you, and maybe that could help you to at least have some framework to trade, to build your trading plan upon. So, well, first of all, yeah, the trader contest account is a mess still, 418 place, 7.5 thousand. This is better than I believe yesterday. I'm going to show you a snapshot of that account. I have now a short trade there in dollar Mexican peso. It is kind of dangerous if you want. Overall, when you're holding a dollar bullishness, for example, in dollar yen, then you're shorting dollar peso, it's kind of strange. But the things that at least I believe that I am understanding overall dollar yen, because I've been committing some mistakes in dollar peso. But dollar yen, I've been tracking that for quite some weeks now. So yeah, I am not surprised of what the dollar yen is doing. What I was surprised what the Mexican peso did on Friday, for example, but not what dollar yen did. So I believe that even though dollar yen, I mean, it's completely possible. Not because the dollar is selling, for example, across the board, that means that every single pair, it will behave the same. Of course, you will have weaker currencies. Very simply, the weakest foreseeable currency for the future is yen. So that is why the market is not reacting in the same bullishness against the dollar Japanese yen. So yeah, it's kind of conflictive in your mind when you are longing yen and shorting, longing dollar and shorting in other currency. But actually, that is the way professionals trade. They hedge. They don't hedge using currencies, but this is exactly a hedge. Let's put it. This is the purest way of hedging in currency markets. Once you buy dollar, you sell it in other place, and it happens because. For example, now I'm not holding anymore any short-term long dollar yen trade. I have a dollar yen trade from 114 and 113.50, and those are the ones that I will simply let run in live accounts. But I am not, for example, we could have a pullback of 100 pips and I won't, or 150 or even 200, and maybe I won't be shaking my feet because I saw that selling off. No, I believe that we are heading towards a dollar bearishness, maybe just prior to Wednesday or even the whole week. Just taking some risks or some profit out of the table, not because maybe the markets are reconsidering that the United States economy is not in the track of thriving. So yeah, it's kind of conflictive, but it's a good thing because when you have in the same account or other account, you have long dollar and the other short, actually you are mitigating any kind of risk. So it's a good thing. So don't hesitate when you see that. Of course, it's not that typical, and only under some kind of circumstances, like the one in dollar yen, maybe I could still hold a bullish view, but it's not that active anymore. I wouldn't recommend somebody to buy at these levels if they are really eyeing the 118, 119, or 120. No, maybe it's more short term, because if you really want to find an entry for maybe the 120 or the 130, you need to actually wait for a pullback, because at maybe in 1 month, 2 months, we could have a massive retracement in yen, and then if you bought so very high, you will be holding losses. So, well, that's my 2 cents on dollar yen. So it's nothing pretty much to say about this. I do believe that I could make it to at least put a break even. I'm not getting that greedy. Just a break even, yeah, I believe it's possible. So let's see what happens there. One thing that I was doing pretty well yesterday, but now I just in the daily stock option contest, I lost 5 in a row and some hours ago, opening some stocks options in the Taiwanese market. All of them are in a loss, so I am holding in a loss like less than 2,000 units. But well, as I've been having promise and maybe potential performance in this, so for some reason I am more or less managing to understand this competition, and I've been hovering from these winnings and then hovering back, and maybe I could put it up. But we have 15 days, 2 more weeks, so yeah, maybe I could have a paid position maybe here in dollar stock options. Overall, because it puts the stress out of the table. Simply you decide before the market opens, and you cannot do anything. You cannot close it beforehand. Whatever, if you are right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. That's it. So yeah, I've been enjoying like never before this competition, so I will continue with that. I have some other trades open for the American session. So if I make it to, let's put it this way, to win those trades, I will put back this more or less here. So we still have maybe the most attractive day to trade this thing is going to be tomorrow or Thursday and even Friday because of after Fed decision. Why I'm in this? Because the most likely thing is either to the upside or downside. The stock markets could move heavily. So, for example, I'm going to tell you something. I was just, I want to show it to you. And maybe if you're not that interested in just a quickly, and overall, if you're interested in maybe having a chance, giving you the chance to enter this competition, maybe you know what, I won't open more windows because if not, this is going to simply crash. Okay, well, just quickly, some of the stocks that I opened were closed at break even. and thus I lost. So at least 3 of those stocks really didn't move against me. I mean, they were close. It was not the thing that you open a bullish trade and it ended up going to the hole. No, they closed break even, and that is because, well, I am still learning what aspects, parameters I need to consider to open a trade. But for example, some of them were low liquidity today, so there were no really movements. So I need to check that and to learn to measure that. But well, the thing is that, yeah, it's like I opened 4 trades and 3 of them were at break even. So that means in this competition losing. So I was like, oh my god. Well, it's a question of learning. This is actually the first competition, the stock market and the daily stock option. So let's see what happens next. Okay. And I just switched my robot in the strategy contest. Here is my curve now. I am in where? 84th place. I am in profit, but as you can see here, my strategy was first dollar yen overall bullish view for the next month. Target should be circa 118 as the 4-hour studies indicate. Of course, this is not for maybe this month, but maybe the next one, etc. But in the 4-hour, when at the moment I did this analysis, the 118 was impossibilities. Of course, there are still chances to do that, but not before this month ends. Well, it depends on maybe the speech after tomorrow. We could have a jump, but I doubt so. I just updated that. New version is configured to profit from USD MXN market movements that I did on the weekend. So I changed my robot. You can change only once the robot in this competition. And now I have a short Mexican peso trade. Let me quickly show you that. I must admit that I am really, even though maybe I am not performing as I expected, I am really happy of getting in other competitions. Because if you are wrong or if you are not performing in an accurate way in one competition, you could have more chances. For example, here, and I'm feeling the thrill of, oh my god, I am kind of enjoying and getting better in the daily stock options. It's good because maybe I have never tried that, and maybe it could mean an opportunity in the future. So that is why I suggest you to give it a chance if you haven't tried that, because yeah, maybe it's just a matter of start trying it. Here is the trade that I opened. Well, the robot opened it. It opened it here in a pullback. The short side, it's hovering here. It's not moving further down. Here we are, and we're going to show a chart in some minutes. We have a strong support here in this zone, so maybe that is why. But well, this is the way it was configured. Of course, we have here the stop loss. I do believe that the market could still has chances to make some retest of the 1950. So now we're hitting a resistance. So let's see what happens. It's the only trade that I can have open in the competition. I am holding now in the 84 with 7,000 units of profit. So let's jump immediately to the analysis. This is okay. Let's begin with this. On Friday 11, and on after Friday, I put this and I did this analysis in dollar yen. I was explaining. I read that yesterday that now our payroll was 30% above, and I was using these boxes to explain what I was expecting for the week. Okay, so from I believe from this moment on, the price action, as you can see, has respected this price box. I updated that with one. Yeah, same one. I updated that with this yesterday, as you can see. This support zone is not here, but it is here. So see how, for example, here I didn't put the resistance here. But using this pose, you could actually see that this support zone actually worked, and now we're heading towards this resistant one. Okay, so using these two in tandem, we could have a how you say it, a bigger view of the next price action. Of course, here the boxes are positioned in different ways. I was maybe saying that we could have a pullback and then jump. Another scenario that I was maybe expecting yesterday was doing something here and then jumping up. If this happens, maybe I think that the market will consolidate for the next of the month here, kind of making some kind of higher highs. But I see it very difficult that in this next 2 weeks we have the price closing above the 116. So I need I have a binary option open that exactly is configured to that in that way, and not expecting the price to close above the 116. Why? Because, well, it looks like overly bullish. I mean, when you have surprising good news, you could expect a 100, 200 pip even after the rally that we have. But now the things are like no surprise anymore. We're getting into steady bullish market. And steady means that, okay, this will go gradually. This dollar yen is the dollar yen style. It's doing it fairly strong, but fairly slow. So that is the way the dollar yen usually works. So this is the Friday post. This is I believe Monday post. Here the only lacking is the support here because it is here. And we have this first layer of resistance, and then we have the second one, and then we have this third one. Okay, so yeah, it's looking kind of tough that the market could actually continue like if it didn't find any kind of resistance. And this is the latest update on dollar yen 4-hour chart. Let me shrink a little bit this. Here it is. So this is the 4-hour chart. Here are my previous trades, etc. We're not getting into that now, but I wanted to look at this. These are the new price boxes for the ones that I will just post after this webinar in the Traders Blog. These are the boxes that I will be using, or that at least I believe that those are actually the ones to rule the rest of the month. Besides those two posts where you see this different price reactions, they are still valid, but this is our way longer term. I mean, look the length of all this. So we know, according to the previous two posts, that here was a support. We are facing two layers of resistance here, plus maybe in the next future this one. So again, here is where my opinion is reflected on what I expect to happen the rest of the month. Besides, we have this 116 psychological area, so that is why I don't think that the market will actually close above the 116 for the rest of the month. I believe that now it looks like not likely that the market could maybe sink here, but what I expect is that if it will sink here, it should happen in the next days to profit precisely on these two layers converging of support and maybe jumping again up. But here again we could have a pullback kind of consolidation in this tight range, then retesting highs, the 116, and consolidating lower. That is what I believe. So as you can see here, these price boxes don't leave a lot of room to expect huge movements to the upside. Actually, What I could maybe, if you're wanting to enter this market bullishly, maybe putting a limit order at 114 in this price zone and just leave it there. Because if for some reason tomorrow we have a huge sink quickly, you could buy here and then it could jump back up. But here, as you can see, I see it very difficult because we're now hitting the first layer of resistance. Then it comes this second. Then it comes this third. Then it comes this fourth, and then it comes this fifth, besides the psychological level. So yeah, I don't think that dollar yen will move another, for example, the 118. That it could have happened, but I said very difficult to happen in the next 2 weeks overall because of this behavior, unless maybe that today or tomorrow the price actually shoots up above these boxes. Then I could expect a retracement here and this work as a support. That is why I let this window open, because in this case that maybe these two previous layers that in the other posts are as resistances don't work, and actually they make it to maybe jump above the 116 after Fed. Maybe we could have either a jump here and then jumping here, and then we could have then chances to even move higher. But usually consider it more conservatively, the most likely that could happen is that we could, if we have a jump, a bullish jump tomorrow, maybe we could have it like the market will move here, it will jump here, and maybe jump back here and start jumping kinda in this zone. I still believe that there are no further surprises. I mean, the market got really wild bullishly because they were not sure if the rate hikes were going to happen this month, but now the chances of having a surprise rate hike next month are pretty much null. And the American economy apparently should deliver so surprise data than maybe to put back speculation of a next month rate hike. We have an idea that we will have kind of 3 months, 3 rate hikes this year, one actually in December. The other ones, I believe, one is in July. So we have time. The market are not expecting to have more, and after the hourly wages, maybe not to have them above 1/4 point this year. So yeah, maybe the surprises are already factored in. The good data is already factored in. So there won't be any kind of surprise. The markets are ruling out at least three 1/4 point each. The thing is that if something in the economy changes that outlook is what could change everything. And then is when you can expect a lot of volatility. But if not, the markets are going to stay, as I said, in a steady bullish thing, doing its thing gradually, fairly slow but fairly strong. So this is what I believe. I believe that yen is where you can see that. But of course, yeah, having these two resistances, this one, maybe are not, they don't look very strong, at least now, to stop it. But here, if the market makes it to get into this time zone, that is more or less, let me tell you, is exactly at March 20th at midday GMT time. It's Monday, kind of Monday next week. If the markets make it to support Fed and stay below this place, what I believe is that before maybe weekend the market would have tried to stay kind of here, but I say difficult. But we need to wait and see. So these are the price boxes and how they will interact, I believe. I still hold my bullish trades, of course. It would be very good for me if suddenly we have a jump here and just get before the weekend the price above the 116. It would be great. But again, even if more or less the weekend we get here, you know what usually happens when we have closing week at psychological level after a lot of bullishness. And these latest 2 Fridays have been profit taking. So even if we get here, maybe on Friday we could have the price trying to close kind of here again. So yeah, I believe that this is the more or less potential scenarios that I expect in dollar yen. So well, hopefully this could bring you some important information into light and to help you achieve your own personal financial decisions. I will post this in the trader's blog in some minutes, so don't worry, we'll have access to that information, because actually, and this is the other important thing, we have a descending triangle here. It's 77 of quality. This is huge in the 4-hour. So if you remember, we were trading here the breakouts. Here we have a bullish trade, you see? I held even if the market tried to stay below this line. It didn't make it. It jumped here. I closed here. So yeah, this is the same thing that I've been commenting, but it wasn't the daily at that time. Here is only in the 4-hour, this triangle. This is a breakout, but here is the first take profit, obvious take profit target. This is also why the market's stabilizing here. If you sum up this thing of this first take profit target, well, yeah, this is playing it way conservative, because if you take this distance or this distance and you measure it from here, of course the price is kind of here. But it depends how you draw it, because this distance is longer than this distance because of its inclination. But it's the same height. But it depends if you want to use it as a vertical reference from breakout, this gets more or less in the 117. But it depends. But the thing is that besides first layer of resistance, second layer of resistance, third layer of resistance, fourth layer of resistance, the 116 layer of resistance, this resistance, it's a lot of resistance. So yeah, this could continue going upward, but there is no rush. Dollar yen is a pair that is not into rushing, is not into rushing into things. So yeah, maybe they have it in their objective to remove it and to move ahead and to move above, but with time. This is the dollar yen real long-term moves. So yeah, maybe we could have it next month. But here it's like too much effort, you know. Let's make it gradually to happen naturally. That the price action leads us to simply not that the price action leads us to simply not allow the price to go lower but higher. And it gets a point when all the forces simply align in that way. They are not aligned now. And the participants here, usually they don't tend up to rush into things. So, yeah, this could become, if we don't have any kind of breakout, and in the closing week we are below here, then the market could even try to do this the rest of the month. As you see, in range. This is why I changed my robot. Okay? Because, of course, you could configure this to trade the robot to configure range bound, of course. But the thing is that since there's a fundamental trend here, in any case that maybe I configure it badly, and I configure it for range bounding conditions, and it's a trending condition, my robot will simply dilapidate my accounts. So that is why I try to move at least to a pair that I believe that it has more chances to move lower. I'm going to close this. And one question, Katerina, do we have a webinar after? Just to see if I can take my time. Nope? Okay, great. Because I believe that I will have to at least retake the 10, 11 minutes of music So let's move to dollar Mexican peso. The trade that I opened, I wanted to look at this 4-hour chart thing. Let me have these are too important, very important actually. This is what made me think twice if maybe continue betting for a bearish trend here or not. I have my doubts on the robot, but at least at the moment I decided to use it for the strategy contest. I reviewed it several times, and all the times it was throwing me that we could have very strong chances to continue having bearishness. There's a lot of speculation. Here's the daily chart, Mexican peso trade, channel up 46%. Looks amazing, right? We're hitting support here. Besides, we have a multi-weekly support here. I'm not going to show the chart. I've been showing that for several times at the 119.50. So here, it is like a very no-brainer buying point. But what I've been watching is that the market is not behaving the way I should have expected. Look at the volumes. I mean, when you have a multi-weekly support and this support, and you don't see the volumes picking up, actually, look, these volumes are lower than this. It's like there are not a lot of people buying here. Maybe nor shorting here, but apparently, since the moment the Mexican Central Bank said that they were going to make public auctions on hedging options against the dollar volatility, etc., we've been analyzing that actually that could even have artificially have a very, very damaging effect for the Mexican economy. That's an exporting one. Okay, that it's to strengthening the peso artificially. So yeah, I've been tracking that idea, and the volumes I don't like them. And even though we're touching a support here, I really consider that maybe the market could maybe even going against what I thought during months to reset the price previous Donald Trump's election. I'm not going to get into that because I believe that this is very politicized. I don't like this guy, of course. There are a lot of rumors that maybe an early destitution is cooking. I simply believe that this guy is not doing the things as politicians do things to avoid that, because he's not a politician. So maybe the markets are reading that either the NAFTA thing is going to stay pretty much the same. All the rhetorics against NAFTA has been diluting from Donald Trump. So this was panic, and the market is getting rid of panic. So maybe, yeah, we could have the 18.4, 0.6 aided by these hedging options, etc., or even lower. But I believe that maybe they are heading here. So that is why I decided to change the robot. Why? Because it's Fed's day, so we're going to have a massive movement. It's going to be after Fed. I'm not saying that after Fed we're going to have a bearish breakout. No, maybe we could have a bullish, but then a breakout to the downside for the rest of the 2 weeks. Somebody said, good morning, hello, welcome, good morning, welcome. So this is, I mean, when you're really trying to play a strategy contest, shorting at this zone, you really need to be sure of your ideas. And yeah, I've been tracking this, and this latest Mexican Central Bank tool has the power, this kind of tool, so I don't want to have the real power to switch and to flip over everything. And to even get as manipulative tool, they could get in having a negative effect on Mexican pesos. So yeah, for being an exporting country, what is the best for Mexican peso? It's kind of cheaper, right? Here is making it more expensive. And the fundamentals of Mexico, I continue believing that they are not good. So yeah, but well, maybe after resetting this, maybe the market could continue its steady dollar yen like style to the upside. It's like we've been in a bullish trend during 15 years. And that is has held because it's been gradual. It's been sustainable. If you have a super massive bullish trend, you could have a super massive pullback. But when you are doing things steady and strongly, it's very hard that you're really having strong building blocks. If you're building an uptrend, strong building blocks at the bottom, it's very difficult that they simply flip over and move against. So that is why I believe that the long term this goes north, because this is the way it should go. I don't see any kind of recovery data that could simply say, oh my God, Mexico is going to become not a developed country, but not an emerging one, maybe just in the middle. No, that's far from being realistic. So, well, even though I decided to go short on Mexican peso. Oh, really? Let's check it in some minutes. Well, actually, it's apparently it's because this woman finally had the chances of. Oh yeah, it just dropped 50 pip, and now retesting a support. Yeah. Okay. Well, continuing with this logic, this is a falling wedge 76% in the 4-hour chart. So in quality, this is even a better quality chartist pattern in the 4-hour, okay? Even the other that's in the daily, and okay, it's daily, it's more important, but this thing is in that daily 45%. We don't have in the weekly support spiking volumes. So that makes it even lower quality. But in the 4-hour, what you're having is a descending price action chartist pattern with ascending volumes that you don't see in the dailies on an ascending chartist pattern. So yeah, this kind of looking heavy. You know, lower quality daily, not that much volume, not that much price action to the upside, versus 4-hour descending chartist pattern, rising volumes. Then you could say, well, those rising volumes is because people is buying. Yes, it could be. But the thing is that we're having it in a descending chartist pattern and in a bigger quality one. So yeah, this is the exact reason why I decided that this, at the moment I configured this was not official. This kind of falling wedge, 76%. But yeah, as you can see, I showed it here in the trading contest account. My stop loss is here, 1970. We're hitting a 14 simple moving average resistance, plus in the intraday I showed you that we're hitting here a resistance also. And I believe that my take profit is more than acceptable. It's the 114 that is just below here that goes in tandem with, okay, let's push it a little bit lower this time. And it's precisely inside. And I mean, this is not even trying to get into the lower part of the pattern. It's only betting that this will get retested. So that is why I believe that this could have even room to the 18.60 just before Donald Trump's surprise of election. The thing with this is that actually I believe that this adjustment could happen quickly in the next month. So that is why I decided to change my strategy contest robot. And I'm using this as support for opening this trades in the trader competition. Why? Because my objective now is not winning again this competition. It's just putting my account back to break even. So I really don't care the way I get it there. I just simply want to close it break even. I still have last month completely lost account. So I am still that account in the hole, but I just want to have one, not two. So I'm using that robot as aid. For example, the robot opened the trade just here. And as you can see, we moved lower, but I didn't open anything. I was watching the market much more closer, and when I saw everything aligning, I closed another trade that I had open here, and then I opened a short trade here with a very super tight stop loss here and a magic number. This only works if you're doing this in a multi-weekly support. This only works if you are completely right in your assumptions. If I am wrong in one aspect of my assumptions, this trade will be not only plus in a loss, this could even move to the 20. Of course, we have this difficulty here, and besides, I've been commenting. I put this on March the 12th. That makes it just before the Asian session starting. I commented this yesterday, okay, that major USD take profit pattern on Friday, blah, blah, blah. This broadening falling wedge in the 4 hour, that this is the same I am showing you here. Here it looks way clearer, okay? So, actually this is not the exact same, if I'm not wrong. Oh yes, this is the exact same. But here you can see the perspective, because this looks like with no context, previous context, but you can see here the previous context, that is low, 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 etc. Okay? So here are the price boxes that I put on Monday. I said that this could mean like a kind of support. Okay? Look the timing in what it could be. This is by March 15. Naturally, that should give up that support. That it makes it after Fed. So yeah, I really expect, besides this pattern, that we could hit this resistance. This resistance is just at my stop loss level, so I am maybe considering it moving my stop loss kinda here, but that is not a defined fact, because I am actually expecting that at this height the price should at least retest the 1955 again, and maybe you will to come back up and then boom. Because if the market moves 1970, yes, we have a resistance here, and then we have this resistance here. But yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable to, because if we have if I don't see further bearish momentum on this, maybe I will quit trading bearishly dollar Mexican peso in my trader contest. Unfortunately, in the strategy contest, that is my direction. Of course, I have configured a bullish setup on Mexican peso to trade it bullishly, but the conditions that should be met wouldn't change in the next 2 weeks. So I need to see what happens. This is a big bet, because, and that is actually why I'm not playing this in live account, because when you short at support, it is dangerous. The only thing that you need to know that, and never get super optimistic, is knowing that you are going against. We started having signals that maybe this support will give up, will surrender, but we don't have still confirmation. Here, as you can see, we have pure price action top here, that comes here. So my stop loss is in an attractive point. It is the price, the thing is that the price could continue here up to here and stabilize here. That is why I am not maybe considering, I am considering it, but not very sure. Because if it hits here, it could jump back here and then narrow, and then it could come a jump to the upside and then to the downside. But my play is to, this resistance should sustain, and then maybe at some point after Fed, will naturally go here. As you see here, my support ends here. So if the market, in my assumption, makes it to be here at this moment, and not here, then the path is open. Okay, and actually my take profit target is just here. So timing, pricing, price boxes, etc., are tools that we need to use them all in tandem to have an opinion on what we are doing. Of course, we can get it wrong, etc. But the thing is that your live accounts are healthy, safe, and sound. Okay. Here it says USD MXN weekly might long. Well, we were just analyzing that the volumes on daily. I believe that you were already here, Loco. It's not showing me the volumes that I am expecting. Besides this descending chartist patterns, higher quality and higher volume, indicating me to the downside. Plus, there's a fundamental thing. This thing of the Mexican Central Bank doing this experimental way to help hedge companies and banking institutions against dollar volatility could actually have the complete opposite effect and have a bullish effect on Mexican peso artificially. So that is why I believe we have chances to break it. And if you've been following me for long enough, I am simply surprised. This is an idea that simply changed. I was seeing dollar Mexican peso above 22 by now. But well, we need traders, we need to adapt. So quickly, the reviews on CAD yesterday. That I commented that I made some trades in the 1 minute. I longed it here, I closed it break even, then I shorted here, I closed it here just at the moment that I saw that this could not continue to downside. And then boom, we had this, and then the market stabilized. So this is range. We have a 23 double bottom in the 15-minute chart, so this is not kind of relevant. I do believe that in some way, dollar CAD should reflect what I expect that will happen in dollar Mexican peso, that actually this should move down to the 134. But I am not sure, because again, not because you have in some place the dollar selling off means that all the pairs are moving in the same direction, or all dollar pairs are moving the same direction and overall the same proportion. But yeah, I do believe that the markets will simply take a breath after Fed and will start continue taking dollar profits to make it achieve and to hit major support in the majors, and then maybe start buying dollars again. For next weeks and months, I need to analyze British pound, because it's maybe the one that will be yielding the best opportunities because of the contradiction. We have now the full certainty that UK will leave. Actually, yesterday had the ultimate go signal, and this Prime Minister will pull Article 50 by the end of this month. So there is no further uncertainty on that fact. I believe that means bullish for pound. I've been saying that for long ago, months. But what you have when you have a bullish, maybe speculative, as this movement to the downside up to the 18.8 in Mexican peso is purely speculative, because it's not fundamentally sustained in the long term. But the thing is that if you have this kind of, okay, maybe speculatively after that happening, maybe we could see at least some advantages at the beginning of the UK having control back of frontiers, etc. Well, you have 2 years. Things are going to behave the same during 2 years. But the thing is that we could have speculative movements that could last 2 years. So we could have a massive bullish movement in dollar in pound. But who's going to be more bullish, pound or dollar? In my opinion, if actually pound speculation start moving bullishly, I believe that speculation will be higher on pound. So we could have a very good movement, completely maybe against euro dollar, and then that could open a huge opportunity overall in, guess what, euro pound. So I will be tracking the next opportunities maybe for the next month or even the next month for my next trading competition, my next strategy thing, etc. Because I believe that Euro Pound will have what I thought it was going to be Kiwi dollar, but maybe it will end up being Euro Pound, the best in this case cross for the year. But we need to wait and see because just now we have let me see if I can launch my screen sharing again. No, but well, if you want to check it out, we're just retesting a low in pound. It doesn't look well in the daily chart. Actually, we are in a double bottom, 40% configuration, hitting previous supports. But this looks long term. So this is what I was talking about. I believe that there are a lot of people betting speculatively for pound for a long time ago. I remember that when we had this massive, what it was, 800 drop in October 2016, that for me that was bearish bullish capitulation. That should mean the end of the bearish movement. It has stabilized in that precisely range. Let me see if I can, because this is important. Okay, one just last time to close the webinar. Let me try to download again the screen sharing because this is important. Let me close this. And no, apparently this thing is not simply downloading. I don't know why. Yep, I have no idea. I cannot even download the screen sharing. So, yeah, we're going to review that, if you will, tomorrow. In the dailies, exactly 6th of October, we had the drop from the 127.50 to the 119, let's say 20. It was 800 pip dropped. And I said that publicly, this is the end of the bearish movement. And from that point, exactly those levels were taken for consideration in the market. Exactly those levels. That huge candle is the one that's been ruling pound dollar activity from the 127.28 to the 120. And now we have a double bottom in the daily. So there's been a lot of expectations for after Brexit UK, and apparently, and I'm not the only one, expecting something good for the pound, for the UK economy. Maybe, you know what, maybe not better, but it will stay pretty much the same. So that is good, because if you consider that this sell-off after Brexit happened because they believed that's going to be the end of the UK, realizing that that's not true, following the logic, then we could have a lot of room to move to the upside to close that 137 weekend gap that we haven't closed, that I've been talking in other webinars. Imagine that. We could have this, if logic prevails and then the market is like the Mexican peso, you know what, we just exaggerated the risks. We have from here to the 140 to move in the next 2 years in pounds. So imagine what that could mean for euro pound when you don't have euro expectations to go higher. So we will analyze that in the next opportunity. I guess I just put the microphone off. Okay, I am back. So I believe it's time to call it a webinar. I believe that we have analyzed a lot of data, overall useful one. I'm not very pro to insist on people trading dollar Mexican peso, but at least the analysis on dollar yen, I believe that the quality of the levels, the boxes are specifically made for my live account purposes. You know? Because I have trades in the live accounts open the long term for dollar yen. So I need to keep track of dollar yen consciously on very important. Here I'm not interested in entering, speculating, and buying more. No, I just need the highest quality information I could deliver to myself to actually diagnose for how long I will keep those trades open. I'm not interested in opening more, just prevailing and consolidating. I'm not interested if it range 1 or 200 pips, just to see that the consolidation could still lead it to the upside. So these levels that I showed you on dollar yen are really serious for me. Are actually for me made for live account decision making. So check them out. Maybe you could find them useful the same way as me. It's time to call it a webinar. I would like to thank everybody for being around. Of course, FX Rabbit for being around again. That's something that I like a lot. Thanks a lot. Wilco, I've seen you more often now. Thanks a lot for that. All the guests. Roca's just logged out. I believe that he logs out at 7 a.m. GMT time sharp. But thanks a lot for being all the guests, and of course Katerina for hosting recording. FX Rabbit says, thank you for your webinar, and it's always my pleasure to listen to you. Thanks a lot for your words, my friend. Yo, thanks Alberto, and see you. Thanks, Wilco. See you tomorrow. And thanks to you, Katerina. So remember that this is Alberto Alvarado. I expect you tomorrow at the same time, same place. And by the way, these are my social networks. My Google Plus account. The only one using it is me, myself, yes. But well, I have an account there. Google Plus, this is the one. My YouTube free channel. This is Alberto Alvarado. Remember that I expect you tomorrow, same time, same place. Remember to trade safe, be safe, and bye-bye.